Hello, beautiful goddesses. Welcome back to the Hello Goddess podcast. I am your host, Mandy de Grace. I am a Reiki practitioner, a wellness lover, and a spiritual seeker. So this episode is going to be a solo cast, just me and you guys, having a conversation with my Starbucks coffee in my hand. So I'm always trying to find an interesting topic to talk about, and my three main pillars in my podcast are spirituality, wellness, and mindset. Today's episode is going to be within the realm of spirituality. I want to talk about protecting your energy. So before we go any further, I just want to bring back the scientific truth, the scientific fact that every single thing in this universe is made up of energy. Your body, your soul, the earth, the atmosphere, space itself, there's nothing that is not energy. Particles, everything that you can touch that is solid is simply energy that vibrates at a very low frequency. And it's so dense that it becomes solid. This scientific fact makes it a little bit easier to understand that we are all connected. We are all one. At some point before the Big Bang, everything that exists was a singularity, a single point. And it expanded and exploded. And now everything that you see in this universe it originates from that single point. So if you meditate long enough, or if you go on the spiritual journey and you go deep enough, you'll understand that there's nothing dividing me and you, and there's nothing that divides us from the universe. We are all one. Everything is connected. But for the sake of this episode, let's pretend that we are separated. Okay? Because it's not necessarily always healthy to not have boundaries. We're spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. And while we're here, while we're human, we have boundaries. What does that mean? That means I have my own arms and you have your own arms. I have my personality, you have your personality. I have my belongings, you have your belongings. We have a separate existence as human beings. That being said, one rule that I love to live by is the golden rule. Treat your neighbor the same way that you would want to be treated. And the golden rule is seen across all major religions in the world, because fundamentally we know that we're all connected. We know that we're all one. But other than being kind and compassionate to other people, we owe ourselves the self-respect, the self-love to protect our energy from toxic environments or toxic relationships. Notice how I said toxic relationships, not toxic people. I try to refrain from using the term toxic people because labeling somebody as toxic is such a big word. It's so heavy. And just because you experience them as being toxic does not mean that they are an all-around toxic person. So focus on the relationship or the environment. What do you have an experience right now in your life that you feel is toxic? And this can vary from different degrees. It can be very, very severe, or it can be very subtle. And sometimes when the energy is subtly toxic or unhealthy, that's the worst, because you're not 100% sure if you should leave or cut that cord. First and foremost, I think that the most important thing you can do for your own energy is to spend time on your own. Whatever that means to you, spend time on your own where you can really connect with your own vibration without anybody else's energy coming into your field, without any interference from your phone. Sit down with yourself in a quiet room, in a quiet space, and connect with your own energy. How do you feel? What do you feel? Do you have something that you need to heal, to let go of? Do you have heaviness in your bodies, in your chakras that you need to let go of? Do you have beliefs, limiting beliefs in your mind? Because guess what? We're always blaming other people for our discomfort, but sometimes the discomfort comes from within. So before you go around and cut people out of your life, or cut situations, or quit that job, or quit that volunteer work, or whatever it is you want to escape from, ask yourself, maybe this is coming from me. I have to check myself before I wreck myself. Check within to see what the issue is. Is it coming from inside or outside of you? Now, if you can sit alone with yourself at total peace and love, good. I'm so happy to hear. If you sit by yourself and you start noticing there's a lot of heaviness, a lot of goop in your energy, this may be a really good opportunity to start doing some healing. So healing, what is it? You can do by yourself. You can do meditation. You can do shadow work, is something you could do by yourself or with the support of a practitioner. You can come see me and do some Reiki. Reiki is very powerful for healing the energy. You can get therapy for a more psychological approach, or if you want a physical approach, you can start walking outside, lifting weights, doing yoga, whatever feels good for you. There's so many different things out there that you can use, so many different tools and modalities that you can use to heal yourself, to let go of the past and to become whole. On the process of protecting your energy, the first thing that I suggest for you is to get in touch with yourself and see if you're not generating that toxicity by yourself. Heal yourself, know thyself, and then afterwards raise your frequency as high as you possibly can. How do you do this? You can do it so many ways. You can do it by dancing around your room. You could do it by doing mantras, affirmations, journaling. You can do it by having a coffee with your best friend. Do things that make you feel good. Do things that rise your energy up to the sky, that make you feel warm in your heart and make you feel like you love yourself and you love life. That is the best protection you can have against negativity. To have a high vibration, a high vibe. You repel the people that are too negative because they can't stand seeing somebody that happy. So you don't even have to deal with cutting people off. They will literally fall off of your life. They'll fall off of the earth. You have to really reconnect with that high vibe, that true nature. Your true nature is pure love and pure joy. Reconnect with that and let go of every single thing that is not that. All right, so you've done the work, you've done your healing, you've raised your vibration to the highest possible level. What next? If you're in your environment right now and you've done all these things, you're like, Mandy, what else? Like, what can I do to protect my energy? Because sometimes I hang out with this person and I'm drained, or I do this work from 9 to 5, and when I get home, I'm too tired to even talk to my children because I'm just overwhelmed by everything that's going on at work. There are little subtle things that you can do to balance out that energy, to make sure that you're not lowering your frequency to match them, but they have to reach up and match your energy. And that is to really create, you can visualize like a big sphere around your body, protecting your aura. And in this sphere, you say to yourself, nobody can enter my sphere unless they can match my level. They can match my energy. And so another thing you can do that is a little bit more practical, you can do, if somebody comes up to you and they're complaining, gossiping, talking against somebody, change the topic. Steer the conversation to another direction, because you don't want to get into that karma. You don't want to get in that low vibration of gossiping and talking against people and being negative and complaining and nagging. You don't need that in your life. You need to maintain the high vibration, the high frequency, and let people know what you will or will not tolerate in your life. This is your life. You get to choose what and whom you surround yourself with. just visualize that big ball of light around you. And even another technique that is very powerful as well is before you enter a building, you're going for an interview, you're going to work, you're going to your in-laws, send the energy into the house. Send your energy into the house, the high vibe. Visualize leaving your body and going into the home and into the hearts of the people that you're about to see. And that will help them raise their energy to meet you instead of the other way around. Now, again, I think that it's important to be self-aware and to be humble enough to understand that sometimes you're that person. Sometimes you're the one that's lowering somebody else's energy, that is, creating toxicity or negativity or complaining, all of these things that really lower somebody's vibration. If this is happening, ask yourself, why am I like this? What experience, what negative belief, what limiting belief do I have that is creating this negativity within my heart? And why do I feel the need to spread that negativity outside to other people? It's one thing to have a friend, and that can go both ways, that you pour your heart out to, and they can support you and hold space for you, especially at this moment we're talking about Bell Let's Talk. Like, so many different things are happening in the world, and people are really struggling with their mental health. So it's important to reach out if you need to. I'm not talking about those occasions. I'm more talking about if you're doing this continuously for long periods of time, and you are basically expecting your friend to be your therapist. If you're at that point in your life where you really need help, my goodness, reach out. Try to find somebody, a professional that can help you through something. That's why I don't want to label people as toxic, because I've been toxic, you've been toxic, we've all been toxic at some point because we've been hurt. Toxicity is basically just pain embodied. It's a heavy emotion that just doesn't heal. So when you reach out and you get the help that you need, you heal yourself, and you get to experience a healthier relationship with other people and yourself. So yes, again, going back to the title of this episode, protecting your energy means knowing how and when to set boundaries. When is it appropriate to say no? And when is it appropriate to open up and hold space for somebody else? That is up to you to decide, and it depends on your own ability to hold space and your own ability to support that person's emotions. So let's say you have a friend, you have somebody that you know, an acquaintance, you have a job, you have anything in life that you have. If it's bringing you down, all the way down, and there's nothing positive in the relationship or the job or the hobby, it's time to quit it. It's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to let go of things and people. And that goes both ways. It's okay for people to let go of you. And you have to make peace with that, because every single person on this earth has their own perception of reality. And in their perception of reality, maybe you are the villain. And it's difficult to accept. But if you have hurt them and you've apologized and they're still cutting you off, you have to respect that decision. They have to protect their energy. They have to think about themselves first, and that goes for you as well. If you want to cut somebody or something out of your life because it is affecting your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, it's okay to say no, and you don't have to elaborate. It's okay to just let go. Another thing too that I wanted to mention is that I've been talking about cutting off things and people like black and white, like yes or no, right? But there's a different nuance in a relationship where something like you have a friendship with somebody or a relationship or whatever it is, and sometimes they do things that cross a line for you that you're not okay with. So maybe it's not about cutting them out of your life. Maybe it's about setting boundaries and being clear and communicating what you will or will not tolerate. This is related to self-respect, and it's connected to the throat chakra. So as a Reiki practitioner, I have a lot of clients that are struggling with their throat chakras. That means that they're unable to communicate yes or no appropriately. So if they want to say yes, they have a hard time saying yes, and vice versa. If they want to say no to somebody, they have a hard time saying no. Again, being able to speak up and set your boundaries in what you want and what you don't want, whether that be physically, emotionally, mentally, verbally, that is a form of self-respect, and you owe it to yourself to protect yourself, to protect your energy, to protect your vessel, everything that you identify with as a human being. The last thing that I wanted to mention, and this is probably one of the most important things that I'm going to say in this episode, and I hope you're still listening if you're out there. The most toxic relationship that most people have is with themselves. It's insane what we let ourselves, the things that we tell ourselves are so crazy, so mean. We would never even say that to our worst enemy, and we tolerate that within our minds. We have an inner monologue, inner dialogue in our minds that we let happen, but it's so toxic, it's so negative and mean. Protecting your energy, protecting yourself also means cutting out the negative self-talk. No longer accepting negative self-talk in your mind. No more. You don't have to adore yourself overnight, but you need to respect yourself. You need to respect the human being that you are. You don't deserve to talk to yourself this way. And don't beat yourself up because you're so negative. A lot of people are doing this, if not all people that I know. But you can learn to heal it and lessen it, because it's really not good for you and it gets you nowhere. Alright, so that covers pretty much everything I wanted to talk about protecting your energy. Remember, doing your sphere of light, say no when you mean no and yes when you mean yes. Have the difficult conversations if you need to with people at work, your friends and your family. Don't be afraid to cut out things in your life that are bringing you negative energy, that are bringing you down. You don't need that, and transform the relationship that you have with yourself into one that you are friends with yourself instead of being your worst enemy. I hope this was helpful. I'm sending you guys all of the love, all of the light, and the Reiki energy. Love you guys. Bye.